You guys all read the script, right?
Lana, Ramon vouches for them. I vouch for him.
These three were my best friends.
Fuck those guys.
Everybody love everybody!
Hey everybody, welcome to Vouch for Me. I'm your host, the most dangerous raccoon, Eric West. The movie of the week is Deadpool and Wolverine. With me reviewing the movie, I have the Red Room's most lethal assassin, Abraham Lincoln.
What up?
And the best there is at what he does, PapaNasty.
Oh, hello.
That's a pretty good one, right? I picked some good ones.
That was random. That was good. I liked it.
I had to do the old Marvel title, the epithet or whatever the hell I had to Google what that was because those are so fucking cool. Because Deadpool's is the Merc with the mouth, and Wolverine's is the best there is at what he does.
It's not truthful little Timmy, the blowjob queen.
Yes.
But we did it, guys. We did it. We went to the theaters independently, watched the goddamn movie, and here we are ready to talk about it. Just so you guys know, we will be spoiling everything and anything. We'll be spoiling jokes. We'll be spoiling plot. We'll be spoiling Easter eggs.
If you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, the finale of Loki, Logan, and probably some random Fox Marvel trivia, you should probably not turn this off right away.
Yeah, we are yapping. Yeah. But if you want to listen to this to get yourself excited for the movie, feel free, because we had a real good time with it. Each of us did go to the theaters. I do want to hear about that a little bit. PapaNasty, what was your experience at the theaters? First time in a few months you've went, or?
Pleasure. If I had to explain it in one word, that's all it was. Watching Deadpool was a pleasure. No, it was a couple months. It was a great time. I seen Abel from across the theater. He was going to town on his Deadpool popcorn box, which I was impressed with.
It actually wasn't mine.
You sick dog. They're just passing it around. No, we went and saw it after having some nice dinner. And dude, it was fucking, I immediately texted you guys. I'm like, guys, what the fuck? Oh, like, because Eric saw it first before anybody, and Eric would not give me nothing on it.
Yeah, I would not spill my beans. I had to keep it a secret. I wanted to tell you guys every funny joke, but I had to keep it to myself. Abraham Lincoln, did you guys really go at the same time?
No, I went to a noon viewing on Friday.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Oh, damn.
So you saw it before all of us.
Yeah.
You saw it at noon. I saw it at 3. You saw it at 9. PapaNasty.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that was just another Mexican dude in glasses.
Let's compare audiences then. Was it pretty dead when you got there at noon, Abraham?
Yeah, it looked like it was at like 70% capacity.
All right. And
damn.
then when I went, it was at AMC in Seattle, and there was 3:15 in the afternoon on a Friday. There was enough open seating, but just enough people to have a fun environment, but no one brought a baby. So, when we didn't have to deal with that. Thank God. PapaNasty, you probably went to the busiest.
Oh my God, dude, there's like 40 people in line, and we were 40 minutes earlier to the film. And yeah, it was fucking jam packed. I was like, what the fuck? We barely got decent seating, but no, it was loud. It was packed to the gills. People were fighting over seats. It was crazy.
Where'd you guys end? Last theater question, but where did you end up seating PapaNasty and then Abraham Lincoln? I want to hear.
Like closer to the screen on as you would get that gap between the really close up front seats. We were right there on the left hand side.
Okay. And then Abel, where'd you end up sitting?
I sat towards the front, like not like the front, but like when you first walk into the theater and you're like in that walkway that separates like going up and then like the front rows. Yep. I sat on like 2 seats that were just right there.
There we go. Yeah, virtually same here. It was definitely closer to the front than I'm normally comfortable with, but I wasn't craning my neck to watch the movie, so, had a good time for sure.
I like the corner seats, so that way no one judges me when I'm pulling out my flask and pouring some vodka in my Mountain Dew. There's no judgment there.
No one judges you. Hey, PapaNasty, want to give us a brief synopsis of this movie for any of those goofballs that have decided to sit in on this episode and not watch the movie? Keep it short and sweet, but let us know what the hell this movie was about.
Alrighty, so we start off with a sad Deadpool just getting rejected by the Avengers when the Avengers at our all-time low point, and he becomes a car salesman and hangs up the Deadpool swords and suit, if you want to call it. And he's living a sad existence until the TVA recruits him and wants him to be their Marvel Jesus, because his timeline is going to falter, going to end because Logan has died. So the journey begins with Deadpool going through the space-time continuum and picking up different Wolverines to help replace to put back in his timeline. That way he can keep back the course of their timeline, because it's in a falter and it's gonna dissipate. So that's their journey, where he finds a broken, even more sad Wolverine and brings him to his timeline. And the adventure begins of them fighting out a new big bad and trying to fix their timelines.
Great job, dude. Sad Deadpool meets sad Wolverine. And they didn't realize that they needed each other all along in this buddy comedy film, Deadpool and Wolverine, otherwise known as Deadpool 3. It had a budget of $200 million. And right now, as we are recording on Sunday, the movie released on Friday, and current box office recording is $438 million.
Fuck.
Currently setting records for R-rated movie openings.
Yep. Fandango announced the ticket pre-sales for the film were the best of 2024, the franchise's best, the best for an R-rated film on their site, and AMC Theaters announced that 200,000 people bought first day tickets at AMC, the most sales for any R-rated film at the theater chain. There we go.
It turns out having the anchor being is what gets people to come watch your movie.
And that's funny. It was the anchor being of the universe, and honestly, it was the anchor being of the Marvel, the Fox Marvel franchise.
Yeah, I saw this one tweet that basically summed it up as like the amount of people that showed up for Deadpool because of Wolverine. Like, you guys need to fucking understand, Wolverine, Spider-Man, and the X-Men are like beyond the level of Avengers when it comes to popularity. The MCU made you guys forget how popular Wolverine is as a fucking character.
Yeah, 100%.
If you notice in every Deadpool film, though, Ryan Reynolds is also a big nerd himself, but he always does give us a good fucking character. Like, we got Colossus in the first Deadpool, we got Cable, a fan favorite, and then now with this one we got Wolverine. We also got Juggernaut in the second one, but with every Deadpool film, he gives us some characters that we've always wanted to see done properly in the MCU, but haven't.
And not only that, but we'll talk about it more later, but this movie, we got so many people reprising their roles, or we got new additions or new versions of
people playing roles that they were supposed to have.
Oh yeah, so sexy.
Let's fucking go.
We'll definitely talk more about that. Just to compare them to the first two movies, Deadpool 1, the budget was $50 million. They walked away with $782 million worldwide box office. Deadpool 2, $110 million, and they walked away with $785 million worldwide. So this one cost the most, but I feel like this is going to be joining the billion-dollar box office club, like Dark Knight Rises.
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel maybe
easily.
I'm calling it early. But how many more weeks do you think this could be out? I think it might hit $1 billion.
It'll be out a while.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
And the international numbers too are gonna fucking blow up. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. No, 100%. So I just thought that was all worth noting. Something I was curious about, you let us know what you think, Abraham Lincoln. Should we do a quick synopsis of Deadpool 1 and 2, like hella quick, just lead up to this? So not a lot happens in the first two that matter, right?
The only thing that matters is the ending of Deadpool 2, and even then, like, it ultimately doesn't matter because Paradox says that's not why they contacted him.
True. If we went super quick with it, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, Wade Wilson,
he just becomes Deadpool.
He becomes Deadpool, meets his longtime girlfriend. Then the movie happens. The second one, spoiler alert, his longtime girlfriend dies, as well as the X-Force who he develops to fight the big bad. Everyone dies.
He wants to be an X-Man.
He wants to be an X-Man in this one, exactly.
Yeah.
At the end, fuck everything that you thought happened in the movie because he steals Cable's
time travel machine and just undoes everything that happened.
Exactly. Yeah. So both those movies were fun little romps. The stories were kind of out of pocket, but I'm starting to realize that that's what Deadpool is. This story we'll be talking about, recapping. It seems like it's supposed to go in one direction. This is the best analogy I was telling Kayla was It's like when the DM is trying to railroad you and you say, fuck you, I'm going on my own side quest. Because they were trying to railroad him to do one thing, to be Marvel Jesus. And he said, fuck you, I'm going to go find Wolverine and do this whole other quest. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not joining the MCU if it means the Fox universe has to die.
Yeah. That's true. That's a really good way to put it. And people are really devout when it comes to doing research. Like all the Marvel research is so fascinating to me. They have universes, like I guess Fox universe is what? Universe 1005 or something allegedly.
10099, right, Abel?
Some crazy shit like that.
The universe that he pulled that Wolverine from was like 10,005 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not the biggest Marvel fucking devout researchers in the world, but I gotta say, PapaNasty, you're probably our devout Marvel nerd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like the MCU was part of it originally wasn't supposed to be the 616, but when they did Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I think they did reference that the MCU was a 616 universe, right?
Actually, it's 1999-99, but then Feige's trying to retcon that as 616 because he wants it to be the center of the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Comics gave it the designation as 1999-99.
But then also that everything kind of goes out of whack with now Loki season 2, because now it's like, okay, does that shift everything? Especially now that we have Doctor Doom going to be played by Tony Stark. Like, what's going to happen now?
The girl that plays Miss Marvel, she got into an argument with Kevin Feige about like that whole like universe designation thing because she's a comics nerd, and she was like, no, the MCU's 1999-99, so why the fuck are you trying to turn it into 616?
Wait, Brie Larson?
No, Miss Marvel, Arab girl.
Oh, yeah, that chick, okay.
Yeah, Iman Vellani or something like that.
Mm. Oh, how fascinating. But he's retconning it anyways. Loki, we'll obviously have to give a synopsis of Loki just in a little bit because it plays a big role in this. But with Loki, with the resolution of season 2 of Loki, it changes the entire universe to where pretty much anything Loki says goes. Because Loki is no longer the god of, the trickster god. He's now the god of stories.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is he who remains.
Yeah, shit is fascinating to me.
Wouldn't he have that title now?
Yeah, but I think they call him the god of storytelling now.
No, I think he's something else entirely.
The only problem with that, who's he telling the story to? Like
us,
I don't know.
The audience.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
He's protecting their freedom of choice because timelines are not being pruned because one universe decided to do something different that another one did.
Oh, so he's the true All Father then.
Yeah, he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll dig into it when we start talking about the TVA a little bit, because I did watch the first season, fell off on the second season, but I now understand how it resolved. But for Deadpool and Wolverine, how fucking exciting is this? Principal photography began May 22nd of 2023 in London and at Pinewood Studios in Buckingham, England. So most of this was shot overseas. That's pretty interesting. I had no idea.
Didn't they do some in Hawaii too, is what I saw at the end?
Oh, yeah.
They did some filming in Hawaii, which I was like, fuck yeah, I would do filming in Hawaii too.
Just they probably just filmed in Hawaii to take a vacation real quick.
Yeah, I could say that.
Did you guys know about some of the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool lore back in the day with Zombieland happening? And so Ryan Reynolds and the original director of Deadpool, they hired those screenwriters from Zombieland to write the script. Then they mysteriously leaked it, quote unquote. Everyone got hype about it. And so it got Fox to make test footage, which once again was mysteriously leaked. And then it showed that they really wanted Deadpool to happen. And then it was officially greenlit after that moment. But it all came from basically Ryan Reynolds just keep bullying them into doing one more step.
Dude was making burner accounts and just dropping shit on Twitter, basically.
What a genius, yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you bastardize a very popular character in X-Men Origins Wolverine. They want the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in an interview, he said that he didn't do it, but he may have had somebody leak the
He said it's one of the 4 people who did it. It was either director, one of the screenwriters, or him. And so... yeah, 1 in 4, and he laughs about it too. So you're like, okay, you little shit.
Yeah, because if he owns up to it, I think he can still get in trouble for that. Even though I don't know, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, because that stuff is still confidential under contract. Stuff.
Yeah, if they wanted to be assholes, they totally could. But yeah, just don't risk it for the biscuit.
And I'm always so curious about Ryan Reynolds' working history with some of these actors because I always hear time and time again people have different perspectives of him. Of course, we see the version of Ryan Reynolds that he wants us to see. And so we all think he's a funny, great guy. But people always butt heads with, not always, but people can butt heads with him. Like apparently Wesley Snipes, well, spoiler alert, he's in the movie, but apparently he did not want to work with Reynolds back after 2004 when he worked with him. But 20 years later, they showed him the right paycheck and made amends because they got him in the movie.
He's very protective of the Blade role, so he probably was down to come back if he was playing Blade again.
Wesley Snipes, he was fighting with the director too on that film. I believe that was like, him and the director could not even talk person to person because it would just turn into a big issue. So Wesley Snipes would just write him like note cards and be like, this is what I think we should change about the film. But he would never directly talk or hand those to the director because Wesley Snipes is he's a bit of a princess.
Just picturing a person standing between them and he's handing that person the note card and that person just turns around and hands it to the director.
So it's like he was fighting with everybody on that film, but
some fucking like 10-year-old bullshit of like, I'm ignoring you.
Yeah.
And then do you think Ryan Reynolds is the type of guy, because he's kind of always called out how Hollywood is and like how they can be kind of weird and some of the, like he points out the hypocrisies and all that bullshit. But do you think he would let somebody like a big ego like Wesley Snipes tell him what to do or like talk some shit? No, fucking Ryan Reynolds probably gonna talk some shit towards him and not be like bowing to him like everybody else was.
That's actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about before we go into the recap is TJ Miller did not return. We'll keep it short and sweet, but we did see him in the first two movies, and of course he was adored by many as Weasel, but he did not return. He was not invited back. He also said that in the event he would have been invited back, he would have declined.
He's trying to say he's too good for it. He's trying to say he's saving face.
Yeah, it comes down to some drama between him and Reynolds. In an interview at one point, he basically said that Ryan Reynolds had gotten too full of himself and was treating him strangely on set. It has to go much deeper than that. They actually did have a conversation after that interview and they resolved things amongst each other. But there's just too much shit that's come out about Miller since 2017 in terms of like SA, potential allegations, in terms of PapaNasty had mentioned Miller has found himself like, drunk and people, saw him like doing
disorderly.
Disorderly. And then on not only that, but I think one of the big things too, he's working on Silicon Valley, and one of the actresses says that he was a bully and just a big old brat. And so HBO had to come out and be like, oh, we're disappointed to learn of her concerns. And so just all these things are falling on him right now. And so there's a reason they didn't invite him back. He's too much of a controversy. He needs to get his shit together. Then maybe he'd get reinvited, but allegedly he's like, I don't even want to be a part of the project.
Yeah, how dare you? I don't want to be part of the biggest movie franchise in the history of movies.
$200 million fucking dollars. And you know how many? Reynolds is a fucking genius when it comes to advertising, when it comes to everything. I saw a Heineken commercial with Deadpool and Wolverine. I want to drink Heineken now.
Heineken Silver. Yes.
And I will always love you.
Ooh. Beautiful.
I'll be honest with you though, on the last thing to close up on the Ryan Reynolds TJ Miller thing, I'm not team Ryan Reynolds on it or Miller on it. I think they both have egos and I think they just collided because TJ Miller was a big writer and he did help write some of the jokes for Deadpool 1 and 2 that we did like. There's still the same sense of humor in these films, but I think those guys just had collided the egos. I don't think there's one person to blame or the other. I think they both have their situations.
And I think that is probably the most mature take on it and the most accurate take on it as well. So the director, of course, was Sean Adam Levy, he directed the last one, Deadpool 2.
Maybe. Let me verify my sources.
Question mark. Because it's different than the original. There was an original Deadpool director, which I'm trying to stall for time as I look it up.
Nope. He has directed Free Guy, Real Steel, Night at the Museum, Pink Panther.
He got him from the Adam Project because Reynolds had done the Adam Project.
He directed Big Fat Liar.
I know. Go through Levy's stuff real quick because you saw Night at the Museum. All three of them he directed. I actually was pretty impressed by that.
Eric, you were telling me that you cried at the end of Night at the Museum number 3, right?
Abel, which one is the night at the museum where his son wants to become a DJ?
It had to be the third one.
I've only seen this first two, so it has to be the third.
Okay, so in the third one, his son is finally an adult. He wants to go to Ibiza and become a DJ. And at the end, that father finally accepts him. And he's like, you know what? You can go become a DJ. And when they hugged, I cried so hard. Okay, so everybody knows real quick. Deadpool 1, Tim Miller, written by Rhett Reese, however the hell you say their name, Paul Wernick, who were the Zombieland writers. So those two writers go on to write the following two movies as well. Deadpool 2 was directed by David Leitch. And at this time, now Ryan Reynolds is also a writer on the movies. And so now we're going to Deadpool and Wolverine. And now we're looking at written by Ryan Reynolds, who is now credited at the top, which I think is pretty interesting. Then the Zombieland writers, Zeb Wells, and then Sean Levy is credited as well as one of the screenwriters. So yeah, things have changed hands a bit, but it seems like it's people who Reynolds is comfortable working with. Other than that, I mean, of course, we're talking about Ryan Reynolds, but Hugh Jackman, 55 years old, said he would never pick up the fucking cowl ever again. Not that he ever had a cowl before this movie, but he said he was going to put down the claws and never pick them up after Logan, and our boy's back in the movie.
And then he showed him the paycheck and he said, "Hey Hugh, do you want to star in a Deadpool sequel with me?" "Yeah, sure, Ryan."
Those two are homies, so I think it was one of those.
That's one way to announce a movie. Just show him, straight up asking him, "Do you want to be in a movie with me?"
The way Hugh Jackman tells it is he was proposed, he had to sit on it, and he was driving in his car, and it was almost epiphanous to him. He was like, holy shit, of course I need to do this. Why would I not? No. But I'm sure they showed him that out of that 200 million, he probably got fucking $50 million. And they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude probably was thinking about how much he'd have to work out again for this fucking movie at his age.
I know. And Abel, I feel like I was curious about your perspective of Hugh Jackman's physique. That was all CGI.
No way.
Yep. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I thought somebody didn't know.
When he was in a cowl mode, he was like CGI a lot of the time.
There's even speculation that when his arms are showing, he actually still probably has because he had sleeves originally because he's worried about skin cancer. He's predisposed to it. There's speculation that he always had his sleeves and that his buff arms were CGI'd over the sleeves. And then of course his physique at the end is also CGI'd.
Yeah. That scene where they're locking arms and taking on that, I could see that being CGI. But like the end scene where he's showing off the like when they're talking to the TVA
CGI?
people. What?
Yeah, the last time it was his actual physique was in Logan, and if you compare the two, you can see how this one is more Hollywood standards, like how he looked back in the day for X-Men 1, 2, and 3. I know Abraham Lincoln's fact checking this, and I want him to, but dude.
No, I'm not actually. But...
Oh, okay. I thought you were going for it because I do have faith in that knowledge. They were talking about it a lot before the movies came out.
He still had to work out to be in a decent shape to fill out the costume, probably.
Oh, he hasn't let himself go. I won't tell you that, but he is a 55-year-old man. Because remember the stories of Logan, how he dehydrated himself to get all vascular like that? He's not doing that anymore. He can't do that.
Well, he also had to look like he was dying. That's why.
That's true. But yeah, no, but the fact that Hugh Jackman came back is probably one of the greatest things all fucking time. But I feel like the Vouchers, we have talked our little hearts out about production.
God, yeah.
We've talked about what has led up to this goddamn movie. This was PapaNasty's pick, which I never said after the last 27 minutes of me yapping. So just so you guys know, PapaNasty, not only did he pick this movie, but he insisted. He said, we're going to the theater day it comes out and we're recording 2 days later and we're posting this shit Monday because I love Marvel, I love Deadpool, I love Wolverine. And I was like, whoa, pump the brakes.
You know, Eric, when we had that talk and I told you how much I love those things, I'm glad you said it right here, right now, because I fucking do. Just kidding. No, but this was for the Vouchers. This wasn't for me. This is for the Voucher. They deserve this.
They do deserve this. Hell yeah, they deserve us putting our best foot forward.
So we love you guys. Like and subscribe. But let's deep dive into the film. Y'all ready?
Let's do it. Fuck yeah.
So we get Again, a fucking great intro. We get Deadpool killing some TVA guys, which we're like, what? Wait, what did we miss? What's going on? And then, of course, the classic, he tells us what happened. And he's doing it with a body. We're like, what the fuck? Why is he killing these guys with... Is that Wolverine's body? And then we get the situation of where we're seeing Sadpool. We're realizing that Deadpool has hung up the mask, or what would you call it? The swords and
the cape and cowl.
The cape and
the
cowl.
mask, I guess. Yeah.
And he's working with Peter, and they're doing. He's selling cars, and he is having that terrible disguise. Which Jesus,
Fuck the Honda Odyssey. It's all about the Kia.
I love the random bashing on Honda throughout the film. We're just like, what? Why? But okay.
And then he ultimately relents. You know what? I take it back. The Odyssey fucks.
Well, yeah. What a hell of a product placement. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm about to go buy a van.
Peter being a homie, he's helping, supporting him. He even has the costume off to the side for him, and Deadpool's is not about it. We also find out that him and Vanessa have broken up, which was the only thing about the film that I'd critique that bugged me, was that those two were broken up. I could not see it happening, but they did. We also get that he's recruited by the TVA during his birthday, and we get a throwback of Colossus Shatterstar.
Yeah, I want to hop in here to help add some stuff to this. Hey, first of all, Abraham Lincoln, what did you think about him and Vanessa being broken up?
It kind of came as a surprise, but I thought they did like a decent job of explaining that she basically just put some conditions on the relationship, and he wasn't able to fulfill them because he was soul searching for his purpose per her conditions.
Oh,
like just try and like do something bigger than yourself. Stop caring about only yourself.
Is that the main reason why he went to apply to the Avengers in the first place, you think?
Yeah, he wanted to be part of a team. He couldn't be an X-Man. He couldn't be an Avengers, so he became a car dealer.
Yeah. And then right before the TVA shows up, you are shown, the 9 most important people to him in his life. They really do double down on that. And then the TVA show up. But he doesn't think they're the TVA. He thinks that they're strippers because it's his birthday.
Strippergram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His line is so good when he's like, he sees their pruning tools, which are just these big staffs.
I'm not used to being the bottom.
I'm not used to being the bottom. This isn't my first time for pegging, but it is Disney's. I was like, you're too down.
Yes.
And then he leaned into it too. That one guy like starts getting aggressive with him. He's like, I love the aggression. You're going to need to take that into the pegging. I was like, oh my God.
I want heavy eye contact.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I like that they addressed the popular fan theory of how this plot was going to play out. They thought the TVA was going to come after his ass for messing with time. But Paradox immediately brushes that aside when he asks him about it. He's like, is this because I use a Cable's time machine to undo everything in my timeline? He's like, oh, God knows. This has nothing to do with that.
Yeah. He's like, you really did fuck up your timeline. But no, this has nothing to do with that. I love that.
No, we realize that it's about a Logan, right? Like, what they call it, an anchor? There's
an anchor being.
An anchor being, which I thought was funny when Deadpool's like, oh my God, I'm the anchor. And Mobius is laughing his ass off in his face. Like,
no, it's not you.
Piece of shit. No, you're not. That was a great fucking scene when he's just laughing like Deadpool. Yeah.
When he suits up.
Yeah. So the TVA takes him. They they bring him in. We're introduced to Paradox, and the TVA has now, after season 2, they're more on the good side, but there's something up with these TVA characters, but we don't know quite yet. And Deadpool gets he armors back, or what would you say? He suits up?
He suits up.
Yeah, he gets a brand new MCU version of his suit, basically.
And you get the classic suit up montage that they do in movies sometimes.
With ass smacking,
adamantium swords, baby knife now in the mix, which I loved.
Dude, the ass slapping though, it started off with like just the crotch grab,
and then
the
it
ass
happens
slap.
every couple seconds. Then it happens like every other cut.
And then when he comes out, he's just like, how does he put it? Something along the lines
he says, he is an amazing tailor, but kind of a pervert.
Yeah, he's an amazing tailor, but he's definitely a predator.
Dude, the jokes for this film, you guys have to go see it. Just amazing, just bam, 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 constantly.
I hope if they're this far in the pod, they would have already seen it.
Yeah, I hope so, guys. Because no, this movie caught me off guard for the jokes. It'd be worth rewatching with somebody else to see them experience it for the first time. And it would be so hard not to, every time Deadpool makes a joke, not to do the thing where you go and you look at your friend like, Wasn't that funny? Huh? You know, but hopefully they're a good friend and they're already laughing. But goddamn, was that sexy? Yeah, like you're saying, the Deadpool, he suits up. He finds out he's Marvel Jesus. They want to send him potentially to help the Avengers. We're not entirely sure, but there's a lot of speculation that since this took place in allegedly 2018, it's right before the snap, and so maybe he's going to go and he's supposed to stop the snap from happening. But we never find out what that plot is. Because Deadpool says, fuck you, I'm going on my own adventure. The Paradox turns into a psychopath in the span of like 2 seconds. And he's like, fuck your timeline. The anchor being's gone, who was Wolverine, who died in Logan. And so I want to prune your universe. We don't do that anymore. The TVA doesn't do that, but I think we should. And then so Deadpool gets pissed off and he goes on a quest to find a worthy Wolverine to fill the mantle of his universe. And he meets a bunch of goofy ass Wolverines along the way.
Yes, we get Wolverine of the Age of Apocalypse, where the world is post-apocalypse and Apocalypse is the ruler. And so we get that. We get Patch Wolverine, which is I really don't know much of his character, but he's hanging out in casinos and fucking smoking and having a good time. We get a Wolverine that is crucified on an X, which was pretty hardcore. I was surprised they did that.
Yeah, I would love context for that for universe.
It was a part of a comic series is what I remember seeing on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or when like front cover. And then we get, dude, I thought it was fucking super cool. And that could happen is Henry Cavill as
The
Wolverine.
Cavalrine.
The
Yeah.
Cavalry. Dude, because I'm like, who's this Jack Wolverine?
fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, that was pretty nasty. That was wild.
Yeah, when I saw that scene, I was all like, I didn't know I wanted this casting.
I didn't know, but now they showed us what we wanted. They did such a good job of scratching every itch.
You were just leaving.
Dude.
Love it.
I can't do the growl.
They had
You were just leaving.
comic accurate height Wolverine.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah, the
5'3".
Yeah, he wouldn't be that short, but yeah.
No,
he's
allegedly that was supposed to be the comic accurate height.
Comic accurate Wolverine's a fucking manlet. He's like Vegeta.
I think that was he actually 5'3", that character that they had for Wolf?
Supposedly, I think the angle of the camera made him look a little bit shorter, and the height of the bar.
I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, no, Wolverine in the comics is 5'3".
But jacked, way more jacked.
Comic accurate old man Logan sitting on that porch.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was cool.
I wanted to add something a little about Paradox's motivations earlier. I saw on TV Tropes that they kind of described it perfectly, where they said Paradox seems to represent corporate movie executives who just want to delete an entire movie universe because it's no longer profitable. Hence why he's like so hell-bent on destroying the Fox universe, because like, well, without the Wolverine, there's no point in keeping it, so let's just get it the fuck out of here.
How fucking meta is that, actually? Damn.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
The TVA, quick background on them. They were introduced in Loki. After the events of Endgame, Loki, when they were in the past, Loki escapes and we don't know where he went. He ends up getting picked up by the TVA, who are known as the Time
Variance Authority.
There
And
we
it's
go.
Specifically, alternate timeline 2012 Loki, because original Loki's still dead.
Exactly. But now he gets picked up by them, and it's in the first season, the TVA prunes universes when they start branching off. They go through this whole, you can watch this series. We don't have to go into too much detail. But basically, Loki succeeds, and in the second season, now the branches are allowed to grow, but that causes a problem because there's no way to control it. So by the end of the second season, Loki, basically sacrifices himself by becoming the god of stories, and now he is responsible for all the branching timelines and making sure he can cultivate them and they can grow appropriately. And so now that concept remains when it comes to this movie, because all of those branching timelines are still happening. And without saying it, as we progress in the recap, there's a few times when like, oh, this person should have died, and it's like maybe Loki in the background, kept them alive for plot purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But as you were, PapaNasty,
That's
I got
just a theory.
I know. I got
an
all
Eric
excited.
theory.
Yeah, an Eric West theory. The most dangerous raccoon.
The dangerous raccoon of the
Ah.
dumpsters.
He was trying to find a good Wolverine.
Yeah, so he's trying to find a good Wolverine. And then he stumbles upon Sad Wolverine. I guess we'll just call him Sad Wolverine. I mean,
Depressed Wolverine.
Depressed Wolverine drinking at a bar. They have some funny banter. And we realize there's something definitely wrong with this Wolverine because he's the only one that his claws aren't coming out, and he's not really trying to fight. He's more
got
boozing
whiskey
it up.
claws.
He's got whiskey claws. And so Deadpool steals that Wolverine, and they are off, and that's when Paradox is telling him, like, hey, you got the fucking bitchiest loser fucking Wolverine out of them all. And they really don't specify what happened until later on, right? They don't didn't give too much detail. He just kind of says that he let his world die. And then we get carried on to the adventure, which they end up getting pruned and sent to the void, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
And they get pruned, they get sent to the void. They keep making fun jokes about how they feel like they're infringing on Mad Max's IP, as they are blatantly infringing on the Mad Max IP.
They are so, that was so hardcore.
The 20th Century Fox logo is rotting away in the background.
Love it.
Blatant symbolism.
And I think this is when we get the Deadpool and Wolverine fight, the initial one.
Such a great fight scene.
It was great. Wolverine gets on all fours and he does the fucking Wolverine run.
He does, the classic Wolverine rage where he fucking just he just fucking roids the fuck out.
Dude, it was so sick.
Let's give the audience what they came for.
Yeah, and we see that. I really did like that they threw in that Deadpool's now his swords are adamantium, because I believe he's like in the comics he should have had them earlier, but that makes his fight scene with Wolverine more believable and how he's able to fend him off.
Yep.
And put him up. That was like one thing. I'm like, oh, okay, thank God they did that.
Dude, there it is. There, you got a little. Yeah, they threw the comic nerds a little scratch, little scratch and sniff.
We also get our first intro of Baby Knife, which he throughout the film will fucking use to stab people, which is just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a baby knife on me for when I'm working, just in case.
Just in case. I love before they get pruned and Deadpool's all excited and he goes up to the camera with the most aggressive fourth wall break of all time, saying, "Fuck you, Fox. Disney bought us out. I'm going to Disneyland." Smashes his head on the camera, breaks the camera, grabs the boom while he's doing it. I'm like, that is the most aggressive.
That was awesome.
I loved it. Yeah, dude. Every fourth wall break in this goddamn movie. There's a part, I know I'm skipping ahead, but we're going to come right back to this. The whole fact of sad Wolverine. We don't know why he's sad. And at one point, Deadpool does try to get it out of him, but Wolverine refuses to tell him anything. And Deadpool's like, oh, so are we going to have to wait till the third act when you're willing to reveal the exposition? Reveal? Yeah. So once again, we will not find out what the hell happened with Wolverine until the third act, really. But the Mad Max crew shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's basically just a colony of Fox Universe rejects, basically.
Well, we also get our first introduction of a mysterious poncho hooded gentleman.
Another Fox reject.
Oh, I think Abraham Lincoln could tell the story pretty well. I feel like you had it down earlier.
Yeah, Abel, you want to send us off? Let's go.
So basically, this guy was watching them fight and was warning them about attracting the attention of the others, ominously. Then the others show up, and then he comes down from his perch and takes off his hood. We all recognize his voice a little bit, so we were starting to wonder things. And then Deadpool starts nerding out because it's fucking Chris Evans, like, holy shit, it's Captain America. And then as the others start showing up in their fucking Mad Max gear and surround them, he starts going off on how, like, you guys should have picked this fight. And he's like, oh my god, he's gonna say it, he's gonna do it. Avengers, flame on!
Yeah.
Wait, what now?
And then to make matters even worse, it turns out he's the Human Torch. He's not Captain America. He flies in the air. You think he's about to do some cool shit, but the mutant Pyro from X-Men 2 is there.
Conveniently is the one that is there.
Who, if we recall, he can't generate fire, but he can manipulate it. So he just absorbs all the fire from Chris Evans, who then falls out of the air and hits a bunch of shit on the way down. And then they immediately get captured. Yeah. Anyways, I was so excited.
Sabretooth is also among them, and him and Wolverine get hyped up for another fight, and then it's over pretty quickly.
Cuts his head off, and then Deadpool does a whole Mad Max Furiosa reference, I guess. I'm not entirely sure what that was.
Yeah, I need to see Furiosa.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how accurately the fight should have went every time with Sabretooth and Wolverine. It's like he has fucking claws. I mean, Sabretooth is tough, and he has a really good healing factor. But yeah, once you get your fucking head cut off, you're done for, dude. Except, I mean, like, he probably could, if you can get it placed back on, he can heal it back. But for the most part, I think once it's off, it's off. In Origins, they say his healing factor wasn't strong enough. That's why he couldn't.
That's what I was gonna add.
Yeah.
Stryker explicitly says that Sabretooth's healing factor is not as strong as Wolverine's.
That's just a theory. All right.
It's a shame they couldn't bring back Liev Schreiber's Sabretooth because I loved him.
Dude, that was a really good Sabretooth. But the problem is he wasn't as like menacing. Like he could have been like Sabretooth in the comics, like bulkier, menacing, crazy. You know,
he didn't have to be physically menacing. He was just menacing the way he acted.
Yeah, it was yeah. You know, it was his was a lot more better, but no, I did like the size difference because it was more comic accurate. But
they also brought back Ray Park as Toad, and he makes fast work of Wolverine and Deadpool, ironically, considering he's not nearly as physically imposing as Sabretooth. But Toad was always like the just slightly more competent one between the two of them.
Yeah, they somehow had a magnet on them that draw them. That was, I don't know, we want to call it lazy writing. I don't know. It was very convenient. That's all I'll say.
This movie, it's so funny because it will go from, you know, they have a plot in place, but they don't mind doing silly shit along the way. Fuck it, dude. This story is not meant to be looked at too deeply. We get to watch Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds be these iconic stars and just basically talk shit to each other the whole fucking movie.
Wait a minute. Abel summed it up earlier in the group chat. What did he say?
As Harrison Ford once said to Mark
Yeah.
Hamill about Star Wars,
Yeah.
hey kid, in that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about like continuity or convenient plot points.
So then Wolverine and Deadpool get captured. They get taken to their stronghold, which is a dead Ant-Man, or, you know, Goliath if you want to get
Giant man.
giant man, which is pretty wild because, like, what did that Ant-Man do to get pruned? But yeah, they use his body as home base, and then we are taken to see
Paul Rudd finally aged.
Yeah, Paul. We get a fucking nod to Paul Rudd. Poor Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
But we see Lady Deathstrike. We see fucking Juggernaut, played by somebody else.
Azazel.
We see Azazel, which was a weird one. We also see
Psylocke, I think.
Psylocke in there, but wasn't paid by Olivia Munn. And then just a bunch of
Russian.
random... The Russian, yep. Also played by a different actor. You know, more comic-esque design and look to him. Thought that was pretty cool.
I feel like there's one more I'm forgetting.
Toad, Lady Deathstrike, Callisto, Azazel, Bullseye.
Callisto, yeah. Oh, yeah, Callisto is back from The Last Stand.
Psylocke, yep.
Yeah.
And then just a bunch of random grunts. But those were the ones that, like, were definitely there for fans to recognize.
Then we get introduced to a character I didn't know exist. I don't know if you knew about this person before. Cassandra Nova, played by Evan Corrin.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who? Did
Emma
you know?
Corrin.
Did you know who that was before PapaNasty?
So in the comics, I think Xavier has two sisters, and this is one of the sisters. But yeah, it's one of those I kind of knew about her, not really. I just knew she was pretty OP, like Xavier's son Legion. Their powers are just insane, and of course they're hell bent on killing Xavier. But no, I did not. This was actually a pretty cool character to do some research on and look into.
I like that she acknowledged that, but even though she like is more like blatantly abusive of her powers, were it to come down to it, Charles is still more powerful than her.
Mm-hmm. It's actually funny. Her character, towards the end of the comics, is how they ended her, was that she does finally learn empathy, because she is kind of born a psychopath like that, and later on in life I forget who was it that instills
like
empathy
James
in her.
Gordon Jr.
Yeah, she is instilled empathy, and then she does start trying to recorrect her character flaws. Instead of how it ends, spoiler, she dies. But we all kind of saw that coming. Yeah. How does that happen?
What? That's impossible. But she was crazy, dude. The moment you get introduced to her, she's out here talking shit. She's out here flexing all of her abilities. PapaNasty, if you want to talk about that, because poor Chris Evans, apparently Johnny Storm was talking shit, or at least Deadpool was saying verbatim.
Deadpool claims he is.
Yeah, Deadpool is like, oh, he was talking all that. You never hear it in the movie.
Yeah.
But Deadpool's like, he was saying this and this and this. And then, Johnny Storm's like, no, that's not true. That's not true. And then she fucking strips his skin away just with one little... And What's funny is in the theater, building up to this moment, we're like fucking 20, 30 minutes into the movie, and everyone's already laughing, having a good time when I was sitting there in the theater. And, I thought we were all just laughing at the most outlandish shit. When she takes his skin away and his body crumbles, I laughed really loud and really hard, but nobody in the theater laughed except for me.
You fucking psycho.
I was so embarrassed. I was like, okay. They thought, I probably made some enemies that day.
Deadpool was like, do you know how much he was eating into the budget? Like Chris Evans commands like a huge amount of money. We can't have in the movie that long, otherwise we can't afford him.
Yeah. Keep it going, Eric. Keep it going. So then what happens?
Okay, so yeah, that is the most ridiculous thing. And then Deadpool, I think this is when Cassandra sticks her fingers in his brain, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Finger fucks his mind.
Cassandra Nova's making a point, and she's not killing them. If anything, she thinks that they're useful some way to let them go.
She likes to fuck with them. She's sadistic like that.
But she sticks her fingers in his brain, and then you get revealed as to what exactly transpired between Wilson Wade and Vanessa. And it turned out that they had a conversation where he basically was saying, she was telling him that he wants to matter, he needs to do more and not be so egocentric. And, he's trying to see eye to eye with her on it. But then Nova starts manipulating the memory, saying, you don't matter. You're never going to matter. Yeah. And so fucked up, dude.
You don't fucking matter.
Yeah, he pulls the cliche, my willpower is stronger than this because he's like, she never said any of that.
So proud. Every time Cassandra would put her hand in the back of someone's head and then her fingers come out their nose and out their cheeks, I was like, that's so fucking cool. It looks so rad, dude. I don't know. It's kind of hot.
And she quickly makes quick work of them anytime they actually try to attack her. She just throws Wolverine underground and just drags him all around and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she lets them go intentionally. I forget how that goes.
She left them to be food for Eliath.
Yeah, the Goliath comes in attacking, and then she's like, well, you're either food for the Goliath or whatever, and then that's when the Goliath comes, and they're able to make their great escape.
They make their great escape, and then they end up somewhere, don't they? No, okay. Help me through here, because I'm forgetting the order of events.
Yeah, I think they
meet Nice Pool?
They hijack that rocket and they just sail off into the distance or something. Yeah, and that's when they end up alone. They argue a bit more. He tells Wade, this time you shut the fuck up and I'm gonna talk.
Yeah, they're getting mad at him. They're saying, the merc with the mouth, this is all your fault. You just won't shut up and you're getting people killed.
Yeah, then they start trekking to go find just transportation or just other people. And then they meet Nice Pool and Dog Pool.
Yeah. Dogpool's so fucking ugly. Did you know Dogpool, the dog that plays it, was a breed of dog that won a dog show for being the ugliest dog on earth.
Britain's ugliest dog.
Yeah. Isn't that so? And that was an ugly dog. I hated looking at it.
I hated looking at it too. I hated that fucking tongue so much.
When he was talking and letting the dog lick him in the mouth, I literally was gagging to myself. I was like, God damn it, please stop.
That was my girlfriend next to me. She's like, ugh, oh my God, I can't. I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh. But yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Do you want to tell us about Nice Pool PapaNasty? He shows up.
Yeah, Nice Pool. It's Ryan Reynolds. His actual face is showing. He's wearing a man bun. He looks like Samurai Pool, but we're not going to get into that.
He's super Canadian.
And he's super Canadian, super happy-go-lucky. His armor's a bit different. We see it's more armored, or his costume is more armored than usual Deadpool's. And he's just super nice. And he does he called soft wall breaks of the fourth wall. He's like, hey, yeah. And then he goes back and what the fuck? What was that? Or what does he say? Some stupid shit.
I can do it too. The proposal.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, yeah. I can make subtle fourth wall breaks, and yeah.
That's not how that works.
Why doesn't he wear a mask?
Come on.
Come on, have you seen his face?
Yeah, he's like, I'm too pretty to wear a mask.
He also gives a slight nod that there's other Deadpools out there, because he says them about Lady Pool, right?
Yeah. And then he says you don't want to run into them. You're
like, wait, what? But he is the owner of Mary Poppins or Dog Pool, and just Nice Pool's such a good guy. He just lets them take his Honda Odyssey.
Yeah, he just sends them on their way and
then merry way with a full tank of gas in the void.
And then how far do they get before it gets out of hand?
they get to that diner, they hang out for a bit, and they argue a little bit more, but eventually they just go back to like silent treatment with each other again, and then they take off one more time.
Yeah, we
And then
see that.
Roughly when they get into the woods, that's when they argue again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we in that diner scene, we do see that Wolverine does have some, really does have some serious issues because he's drinking alcohol, like that's supposed to sanitize a wound. He's just drinking, was a hand sanitizer pretty much, like
rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol.
He's like, I smell something.
Is that when he suggests that, like, oh, so I guess we're not getting this until the third act or something like that? Because he still won't fucking talk.
Yeah, and Deadpool's trying to tell him some of his backstory, like, hey, and that.
I don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm. Then they have they take the Honda, they're driving off more, and then they get their fight scene where Wolverine finally lets Deadpool have it and says basically Deadpool's a fucking piece of shit that can't do anything right, and that, yeah, not even a fucking hooker would want to be with him because he's such a complete moron, and that he's just fucking worthless.
I love the way he said it. He said, you can't save the world. You couldn't even save a relationship with a fucking
stripper
or something like that. And you could tell Wade was taken aback, like legit, because he didn't say anything, and he even was like, oh, what, got nothing to say? And he's like, I'm gonna fight you now.
Yeah. And then Wolverine's laughing, then Wade gets him right in the nose, and they just have that epic fight scene,
all in the Honda Odyssey.
He crossed the line by bringing up Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what they needed, though, to just beat the living shit out of each other until nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Went all day and all night, just beating the shit out of each other in the Honda.
But in a weird way, like, I don't know how the fuck this happened, but Deadpool at the end of the fight, though, is tied up with all the fucking seatbelts.
Yeah.
So Wolverine won the fight.
Yeah.
And by then, Wolverine was sitting there exhausted, so...
Yeah.
But then, as they're exhausted in the Honda Odyssey, a mysterious figure gets into the car and drives them away to an unknown location. Dun, dun, dun.
But Eric West, who could that be?
I don't know. I don't even know. They show up. Suddenly, they wake up, and you have Deadpool's coming to. He sees Wolverine. Wolverine's having the time of his life. He's just chugging a fifth Jim Beam. I'm like, that dude knows what he's doing. Let's go. And they're back to back to arguing immediately because Wolverine's still pissed at him because pretty much he made an educated wish. Yeah, Wolverine figured out that he's been lying to him this whole time. But then comes in our cast of Fox cameos, baby. Not even cameo.
Ooh.
Well, first it's played for like a little bit of tension at first because they hear someone coming, so Deadpool like camps the door ready to attack whoever it is. Then he tries to attack him, and suddenly you see a couple sighs, and yeah, they disarm him. And then I was like, oh shit, is that Elektra?
Yeah, I was like, there's no fucking way.
Jennifer Garner Elektra.
Dude, literally, I genuinely did not believe it when I saw it.
Jennifer Gardner has not aged. Like, she still looks pretty much the same. Holy shit.
Yeah, if they released a Carmen Electra movie next year, it would not be unbelievable. That's for sure. But she walks in. Wesley Snipes walks in.
Well, her movie was bad. That's why they just collectively acted like it never happened.
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
It was early 2000s?
The Elektra movie.
Yeah.
It was a spin-off of the Daredevil movie. Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Affleck Devil. Yeah.
But yeah, they implied Daredevil was dead, and then she was like, don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, because...
Yeah, because they were married in real life.
What's the word? Ben Affleck was married to Jennifer Lopez. During the movie with Jennifer Gardner on Daredevil, I think he had just recently split up with her. They had issues. Well, then he ended up marrying Jennifer Gardner after that film. And then a few years go on, then he ended up divorcing Jennifer Gardner and got back with Jennifer Lopez.
It's actually like back in... Like, I swear I heard it was like 2018, Jennifer Gardner and Ben Affleck, they split up, and then he went back to J-Lo. That's crazy.
They went to J-Lo, yeah.
Yeah, and then earlier this year, they split up again.
Oh, probably.
I think I remember, because this is like slight tangent, but
here we go.
During one of the Formula One races, when they were doing like some just PR stuff where they had the Mercedes drivers just answering fan questions or something, they asked Lewis Hamilton who was his childhood crush growing up, and he said Jennifer Lopez, and then they're like, someone was like, isn't she with Batman? He was like, not anymore.
He's up to date, baby.
Side note, I know this is not valuable, but it's sad that she's actually a bitch. I was always a big fan of her.
J-Lo or Garner?
J-Lo.
Oh, I think I saw her act, and I was like, oh, I'm not about it.
She was only really good in Selena.
Oh, was she Selena?
She
Yeah.
was Selena, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Selena.
Well, see, I never saw Selena. I just saw every movie she was bad in, like the one where she was pregnant. Anyways, long story short,
Sorry, guys. We went.
that was Jennifer Gardner. We love her. She looked great.
Wesley Snipes walks in as Blade.
Wesley Snipes walks in as Blade, which is actually surprising that they're working together again, because once upon a time, Wesley Snipes had a big problem with Ryan Reynolds when they worked on the set of, I think they worked on Blade together. Isn't that crazy? Ryan Reynolds.
I read it was Blade Trinity.
Yeah, Reynolds was in a Blade movie once upon a time, but also Wesley Snipes had a problem with everybody.
Yeah, he had a problem with the director in the last film. Him and the director weren't even talking. He was just getting like note cards and like, hey, we should change up this scene. But he would not directly talk to the fucking director.
And then we have Channing Tatum show up as Gambit because they were
Comic accurate Gambit.
Yeah, they're potentially going to make a Gambit movie with Tatum, but it hasn't gotten off the ground. But he got to play him with the most absurd dialect.
And it's never going to get off the ground now because Fox dissolved.
Yeah, but hey, who knows? The most insane dialect of all time, though.
I understood 90% of it.
But there were times where they intentionally made it impossible to understand, right?
If you watch,
I think that was the point.
Yeah, if you watch Swamp People, you totally would understand that Cajun accent. So
That's what it is. It's Cajun. Cajun.
it's Cajun, yeah.
I never knew what it was. Yeah, I almost thought it was a fake fake dialect.
It's basically kind of like a Louisiana dialect of English that's just really thick French sounding.
But then Deadpool's just roasting the fuck out of him.
because he's so unintelligible.
Yeah. Who's your dialect coach? That's insane.
I feel like we're missing a lot of important exposition here.
Dude, that costume, they kept it classic fucking Gambit. I mean, the only thing I think I told you, Abel, is that I didn't like they didn't have the eyes, but we discussed that.
Eyes also probably would have just not looked right in live action.
It would look so freaky on camera. So I mean, yeah, it is. That's the it was cool to see that. I was like, hell yeah.
Who's the final one? Who's the last one that walks on in?
Who is the final one, Abel?
Laura Kinney, the Wolverine.
X23.
X23.
Dun, dun, dun. So they all got pruned from from different universes. She's clearly not the one from Logan, but she's a variant.
I thought she was the one from Logan.
She's the one from the Logan universe, but not the movie Logan, I'm guessing.
Spoilers, she pulls out the sunglasses from way back in the day from the gas station that she stole those from.
7 years ago.
Well, the concept behind it all is, variants are alternate universes where all these...
There's infinite amounts of variants for every infinite universe.
Maybe you're a variant.
I really could be.
You could be, yeah.
I'm a variant of In Love with You. Dun, dun, dun. Interesting.
Stop it. This is
okay,
not...
anyways, all right. PapaNasty doesn't kiss and tell, so we're going to keep that to ourselves.
Not
But
on the pod, but our Patreon I will.
you'll get a video. Wait a minute. Okay, guys. So they all show up, and they were like, "Where's Johnny Storm?" And Deadpool goes ahead and tells them, he's like, Johnny's a piece of shit. He talked all this shit to Nova, and so Nova just randomly stripped his skin off and killed him. And
and Wolverine's laughing in the background because he's accusing him of being a liar.
Almost manic laughter, dude. Almost like he's losing his shit. He's half a bottle. Yeah, he's a half a bottle deep of Jim Beam.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's like. So Deadpool's trying to dig himself out of this situation. Eventually, Wolverine and Deadpool guarantee, they're like, hey, we can get you guys back to Nova. They figure out a way they could depower her if they get their hands on Juggernaut's helmet, because they don't have Magneto's helmet in that world.
Yeah.
They talked about how the first thing that Nova did when Magneto ended up in the void is she killed him and melted down his helmet.
The crazy thing was that they had said that no one's ever survived meeting Cassandra and going there to her, her fortress. And that's when we kind of realized how powerful that bitch is. Like, holy shit. She is probably, what they say, she's Omega level.
Dude, she's probably like S+ tier Omega level.
Yeah, she's probably just shy of Omega because she says Xavier would be more powerful than her, and he's an actual Omega as far as like being a telepath goes.
Yeah.
I think she's Omega level, but I think that Xavier, because of his skill set, he's the only one that could subdue her.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So what's the matchup on that? It's probably like, she's 90-10 on everybody else.
He's better at what she does, so he would just solo her.
Because he has range.
Yeah.
Yes, and Xavier could, if he was a bad guy, nobody could defeat him because he would just use.
He could just kill everyone on Earth if he wanted to with Cerebro.
Yeah, or if you were gonna attack him, everybody in the world, including your loved ones, are my slave. So either you want to fuck around and attack me, then lose those loved ones, or they're gonna kill you. It's your option. Follow me or die. Like there's only a few people.
I remember in X-Men 2 when Wolverine shows up in Cerebro and he's smoking a cigar, and Xavier tells him, "If I have to tell you one more time to stop smoking in the school premises, you'll spend the rest of your life thinking you are a 12-year-old girl." And he was like, "You can do that?" He was like, "I'll have Jean braid your hair."
Oh shit, I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he could totally replace his entire psychiatric mind and just make him think he's something else completely.
That's crazy. We definitely have to do the old X-Men movies at some point. If not on this, we'll do it on the comic book podcast that might be coming at some point soon.
I was like, bro, at this point, this is about to turn into a comic book podcast with us talking about mutant power levels and
that's
shit.
why we have to have a whole other one for it. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves because they all agree and they decide, let's go back to Nova's compound and start raising hell. If someone wants to, who's got that locked in? I want to hear about it.
Let's go. Right before they're going to do the attack on the compound, Wolverine is getting shit-faced by the fire, and Laura, X-23, goes and talks to him and kind of gives him like a little inspirational nudge of like saying, you remind me of him. You should come join us. And he's telling her, no, he's not the guy. He's never been the guy. And she even agrees. She's like, yeah, you're not the guy, but you are. You never were. And we just kind of leave it as is. And he's not going to join. So now it's the charge, it's the attack on the compound. And right as they're pulling up with a Blade shooting a rocket launcher blowing through the front gates, we see Wolverine has been in the trunk the whole time and he's popping out.
The Punisher's AT4.
Yeah. And it's time to fucking...
Punisher? There's 5 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
There's 5 fucking Punishers. Yeah. Who do you think was the best Punisher?
John Bernthal.
That's the most recent one?
Yeah.
I did like him a lot.
I would agree. Yeah, he's the best.
Netflix verse Punisher.
Yeah, hands down. I remember watching that whole season in a matter of days in my underwear. Fuck yeah, dude.
He was really good. Yeah, I can't. I mean, he didn't look the most like him. I thought, what was his name? The British gentleman. He also played in Thor.
I'm trying to remember which guy that was.
He had the slick hair back. He had the more of a.
This is why we need an intern every time, because whenever we mention Deadpool, anytime we're mentioning a character, they're going to be Googling right out the gate. So hey, we might have some more interns on soon. But they go for a crazy fight. The battle is pretty insane because basically in the main area you have Carmen Electra, you have Blade, you have Laura, and you have Gambit. They're going to town. They're just clean. They're cleaning house with all the mutants.
Dude, Blade murks Lady Deathstrike pretty fucking quickly. Thought that was pretty cool to show how powerful he is, because he is pretty fucking tough. Blade is right up there.
Yeah, considering Wolverine had trouble with her in X2.
Yeah, I mean it's not the same one, but it's still a variant. But like,
I remember reading that comics Lady Deathstrike has like completely different powers. Like she still has the claws, but they're not like Wolverine's. They're just
no. And then she has like
she's
robotic
not
arms,
busted like him.
Yeah, she has robotic arms. So if you cut those arms off, I think we see that in like one of the Hulk shows, the animated one, where he like rips her arms off. It was kind of like,
fucking
oh
awesome.
yeah, then she's done.
No, and another example of what, like, holy shit, that went by to Laura fucking up Juggernaut's Achilles. And it's so beautiful. I do love stuff like this because it was like, let's not fuck around. This isn't, this is a 10-minute montage, and they are going. This is every fan's fantasy because this is happening in the void, so we can get away with shit like this. And Laura
having a crossover of characters that never would have met otherwise.
Yep, and Laura could have absolutely fucked up his Achilles. He falls to the earth. She gets his helmet. She gets it up to Deadpool and Wolverine, but Deadpool and Wolverine are in a confrontation with Cassandra Nova. As soon as they get up there, Deadpool gets smacked to the side because, he wants to fucking start yapping. And she's like, fuck you.
She's not having it.
But then Wolverine now Wolverine and her are having the exposition where they're actually talking. And just as Deadpool had said it previously, we get the Act 3, we get the Act 3 reveal of what's going on in Wolverine's head. She puts her little fingies in his head like she loves to do. Just, ugh.
Jesus, she is.
she's quite literally poking his brain.
She's quite literally mind fucking him, dude.
Yeah.
And then you get insight. You get insight as to what the hell exactly was going on.
Like, what does he feel so bad about?
You got screams in the background. You see all of these tombs. I think you've heard a little bit of it before, but right here you get the symbolism of how it weighs heavy on him, where he can't even see himself there. He's far away from it.
Well, one thing I fucked up and should have mentioned was that when him and X-23 were having that talk, he opens up to X-23 and says that the reason why he is what he is right now was because that he let his family die by drinking, being a drunk ass, that people that somebody he didn't specify who attacked them, but essentially some people attacked the X house and they murked all the X-Men, and that he had came home and he had come across the dead bodies, and then from there he went and got vengeance, but did he fully get vengeance on the people that he wanted to get vengeance on? So ever since then that's haunted him. So when Cassandra does that mind fuck, she's telling him, "Oh, I can silence all this pain. I can, it's a classic. I can help you. I could join me, and we can rule.
We can make the voices go away forever.
Join the dark side. Basically, we'll rule the galaxy."
Nice.
And in that process, fucking Deadpool, like a motherfucker, comes out of nowhere, puts the helmet on her, and they are trying to convince her to like fucking let them go. And she's like, "Nope, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
That shit's hilarious. I love the way they do that.
What she said specifically is like, "I need to use my powers to do what you want me to do, but I'm not going to do that because the first thing I do when you take this helmet off is I'm going to fucking kill you."
She was a great villain though. She overall, like, I think she's been a great, like, she's not been like, I don't know,
She's
like
just
these
pure evil.
Yeah, she's pure evil. She's like, she's a psychopath. Like, she's maniacal. Like,
she has fun doing it, and that's what you don't see a lot of in villains. Is she's genuinely having a good time. She's like, "I'm gonna torture,
like Frieza.
I'm gonna torture you guys, and I'm gonna flick my bean." That's wild.
Some of these other Marvel villains have been such like trash, but she's actually been really good. Where I'm like, yeah, she's a believable villain. I like her. I'm sad. Spoiler, she dies, but
yeah, but also she's just a variant. And so there's a good chance she still exists in the
motherfucker.
That's how we do, baby. That's how. Yep. Thank you.
You just did a Cassandra Nova to me. You just fucked my mind right now. Oh my god.
Let me get my fingers in there. No.
She's kind of like Gambit's variant where she was ejected there before like she ever had a chance to exist in her universe.
Before she could walk, I think is what she says, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's always been there.
But then
Pyro shows up to try and ruin the day and just starts shooting at her because he's secretly Paradox's mole.
Yeah, Paradox's bitch.
And so now she's like, "What the fuck? What's going on? I was working with Paradox to make all this happen." And so apparently Paradox was going to double cross me. So fuck it. Let's do some crazy shit. And she pulls a sling out of her pocket. She can a
sling ring.
She can sense. They do take the helmet off. You're like, "Oh fuck, is she gonna kill them?" But she pulls a sling ring out of her pocket. And it's what's fascinating about it is it does have two pieces of the Infinity Stones on it. I think they were
the Time Stone and the Reality Stone.
Yep,
dude, that was a cool scene. That like you see that Xavier's training and him mentoring Wolverine rubs off on even bringing somebody as wild and crazy as Cassandra Nova to somewhat to the light side momentarily. But that's a really cool, like, important scene that I feel like,
it's because he was always the wrong guy until he wasn't.
Yeah, but him doing that, I was like, oh fuck yeah, that was pretty cool. Kind of crazy what we get later on, but anyways, sorry.
No, perfect. No, no, you did set that up well because he does level with her before he takes that helmet off. He says that Xavier would have saved you if he knew about you, and if don't do this for me, do this for your brother. And she does. She uses a sling ring, but she does give them an ultimatum of like, you got 4 seconds to make it in that portal or Alioth is gonna eat you. And so they do this heartfelt music because it has to be a Deadpool movie. They go running and they make it through the portal in time while you see the 4 Fox franchise characters down there just completely wiped out everybody. So that was pretty fucking awesome. And then they make it through back to Deadpool's original universe. But Paradox is still setting up the Time Ripper to destroy everything.
And Nova is is getting ready to interrogate Pyro, but Pyro don't want to have his mind destroyed by her, so he's like, I'll just sing right now. I'll tell you everything.
It would be mind violated.
Yeah, and so she shows up shortly afterwards back into the Fox universe with Pyro because she wants to get revenge on Paradox and play with his brand new little toy. She shows up through the portal, kills Pyro, and then tells Deadpool and Wolverine, like, hey, I'm gonna go steal Paradox's machine, so here's an army of Deadpools to stop you.
The Deadpool Corps.
That's so fucking cool. Yeah, so her plan is to fuck it. I'm just gonna
destroy everything.
I'm not only gonna destroy this, I'm gonna destroy every single universe, and it's gonna end up in the void, and I'm going to rule over it. And Paradox is caught off guard by this. She just puts her hand in the back of his head. Her fingers come out his nostrils, and she just drags him along with her as she's going to do this. But Deadpool and Wolverine are busy with the Deadpool Corps, which is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, we get Nice Pool and Dog Pool come out of nowhere.
They were the first ones to show up.
And they're the only ones on their side.
Yeah, they're the only ones that warn them, basically.
That warn them and like, hey, we're on your side. And then
because he's Nice Pool.
Fucking Nice Pool, such a nice guy. Even Nice Pool has his own little fourth wall break. He's like the proposal when they're having like their back and forth banter. Like, I can break the fourth wall too.
Talking about what they can do versus the other. I can break the fourth wall too.
Yeah.
Then he's like, that's not how you do it.
Yeah, because Deadpool wants Dog Pool. And so he's like, you need to decide, me or Van Wilder.
Deadpool references Van Wilder, and then he's like, "Oh, I can make subtle fourth wall breaks as well." And then in the most unsubtle fourth wall break, turns to the camera, the proposal, and then turns back. It's like, that's not even how you do it.
It's so
what the
stupid. Oh man.
Yeah, like, what's the context for the proposal here?
Why not? Yeah. He just had to pick a nice movie that Ryan Reynolds was in. But shortly following them is the Deadpool Corps. And you have Lady Pool. Ooh wee. Oh wow, wow, wow. And a bunch of other Deadpool variants.
Yeah.
Kid Pool, Deadpool 2099, Head
Baby Pool, Headless, yep. Cowboy Pool, Zen Pool, Scottish Pool. We have another version of Lady Pool of 2099 or some bullshit.
Yeah, that's what he said. And then on top of that, you have Lady Pool is played by Blake Lively, who is Ryan Reynolds' wife. A Kid Pool is played by his daughter, and then Baby Pool is played by the baby that they have together. And I was like, that's so sweet. One day the kids will look back at that and be like, that was me. I was in the movie.
I just seen that Cowboy Deadpool or Deadpool the Kid was voiced by Matthew McConaughey. I was like, no motherfucking way. That was pretty cool too.
Bro, did they pay him or did they just offer him a pound of cocaine to do that? That's the real question.
Hey.
I read on Twitter, I don't have the source verified, but they said that Nice Pool is credited as Gordon Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds' quote-unquote twin. It's actually just Ryan Reynolds.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. So then the fight scene begins, and Deadpool sacrifices Nice Pool accidentally, purposely. We're not too sure. We're not too sure. He thought Nice Pool had the regeneration, as all Deadpools have, except for that one Deadpool. But it kind of makes sense because we see that his costume design is more armored than the others, but it is what it is. And then Deadpool gets his golden plated Desert Eagles, which he was eyeing earlier in the film.
It really worked out for him. He got the guns, he got the dog. He's like, oh,
yeah.
The moment he found out, he's like, wait, you don't have regeneration powers? Oh, it's okay. Let's run back in front of them again. It's such a corny little thing, but it's funny.
And then when Wolverine crosses the street, he holds up Dog Pool, and then they all love Dog Pool, so they just stop shooting and just let him quietly walk across the street.
But then they go to town on all of the Deadpools, and one by one, they are actually taking them down. It's a great scene.
Eric, you fucking skipped over. Wolverine finally puts on the fucking mask, which we've all been wanting for so long.
We've been wanting it since 2000.
And then anyways, sorry. That's all
he does. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. He puts on the cowl. And I did not even expect that. I was like, wow, he looked great as is. He looked great.
I knew he had to put it on at some point because the freaking merchandise.
Oh,
they were advertising a Wolverine mask, and everything, so he had to have put it on at some point.
And this is it. He puts the mask on, and they do start going to town on all the Deadpools one by one, taking them down. In a very beautiful scene, they're just tracking the shot as they are just going almost 2D. You know, they just from one direction, you just see them plowing through everybody. You get our Stan Lee cameo on the side of a bus. You see Stan Lee, and it's for Stan Lee Steamers.
Your friendly neighborhood steamer.
Yep, from 19, whenever the fuck he was born. It's like, so, yeah, it's such a cute little one.
1912 or something crazy like that.
But they do take out, I don't know, he's not that old, but I do, right?
I don't know.
I know. From the year 1700, but they do absolutely take out all the Deadpools, but by the end of it, they look back and the Deadpools are getting up because they do have regenerative powers. So they're fucked. But then the true savior comes to save the day, dressed in a Deadpool outfit as well.
On a bike.
On a bicycle.
Who are we talking about?
It's Peter. Wait, what the? Wait, how that?
Peter Pool.
I know how'd they say it though? They're like, wait, is that fucking Peter?
Yeah.
And apparently all the Deadpools love Peter, so they stopped fighting and started just like crowding around him because they love this guy.
Oh, you mean Peter the package? Fucking
Yeah.
pool? Fucking Peter has a fucking hog and a half on him. Jesus Christ.
And he does. You can see it in his fucking
he is.
uniform.
He has a dog pool in his pants, ladies and gentlemen.
That is happy to see me. So now they have a chance to skirt away. They find out, I think they interrogate Paradox, and they pretty much find out that Cassandra Nova is going to access the Time Ripper, and she has access over the matter and the antimatter, and she's going to destroy the whole universe, and not just the universe, but because she has access to it, she's going to destroy the entire multiverse, and it will end up in the void. They find out that if they go into the basement level, if they can connect the antimatter and matter before she completes everything, it will counteract it. It will kill whoever does it, who sacrifices themselves. And so you have Deadpool and Wolverine. They end up in the basement together, and they're fighting over who is going to sacrifice themselves.
Yes, so we think Logan is going to make the sacrifice. Logan is, he has nothing to live for. His universe is gone, and Deadpool's going to let him. And right as Logan's going to make that sacrifice, Deadpool does a big old fuck you and switch, and Uno's him, and fucking he's going to make the sacrifice. And he's saying his goodbye. Wolverine is somehow having problems cutting through the door, even though he has adamantium blades, as Abel had pointed out.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he's just trying to bust that shit down instead of just cutting through.
he even says, like, hey, like, say hi to my friends for me, like, thank you. We they have their cute little bond at the end. But then Wolverine and Deadpool are both gonna make the sacrifice, and we have this epic scene of them locking hands and taking on the antimatter and what was the other one?
Oh, antimatter and matter.
And matter.
Yeah.
And they're taking that all on.
And then for no reason, Wolverine's shirt just completely rips off.
Yeah, for some magical reason, just Wolverine's side rips off, and we see his.
If only the whole thing ripped off.
Yeah, if only the whole, just like an X-Men Last Dance, where Wolverine, just his top half shirt rips off, not the bottom half. We see his beautifully CGI'd abs, and just the mask is on, and they are just having this Guardians of the Galaxy taking on the Storm, and they are just gonna die together, brothers in arms.
While Nova is upstairs. Yeah, Nova's upstairs, and she gets completely atomized.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she, has too much fun finger blasting the Ripper, and the Ripper explodes, and she is gone from this universe.
But not all is done, though, because now the leader of the TVA shows up, and she comes down.
B-15, which now she is a judge. It looks like she's moved up in the world.
She moved all the way up, and now she confronts Paradox, and she's like, what the hell happened here? This is unsolicited use of a Time Ripper. And Paradox is like, oh, this was Nova's plan all along. And in fact, I had teamed up with Wolverine and Deadpool, and those were my men, and they died, and I can't believe it. And he's selling it. But then Wolverine and Deadpool come walking out, even though they were supposed to be dead. And he's like, fuck, he completely loses himself. And then they pretty much tattle on him, and they're like, no, he's a piece of shit. And so now Paradox.
Everyone's checking out Wolverine.
Yeah, everyone's just. Well, everyone's checking out Wolverine except for B-15, who's checking out Peter.
Because because they thought they were about to get rid of Deadpool and Wolverine as well because they don't belong there. But then Peter shows up to save the day and explain, no, Deadpool's in the right place. This is his universe.
And then somehow they talk them into leaving Wolverine and Laura behind as well.
Because she's too busy checking out Peter's package.
Well, that and also B-15 shows them that, like, hey, their timeline that was going to dissipate in 1,000 years, like they said, like it was, because it was off course because of Logan's death.
There's no anchor being.
That it had somehow magically gotten back on track.
So they decide to leave him behind. They B-15 takes Paradox into custody, and so he's going to be arrested, reprimanded, held accountable for his actions. And now, what a beautiful thing! We get a cut to the final supper, the last supper, if you will, and it's Deadpool's 9 most important people in his life who he had been fighting.
Well, they made an Avengers reference first by going out for shawarma. And then asks Wolverine if he's ever going to see him again, and he says probably not. He's about to walk off into the sunset, figuratively speaking. And Deadpool invites him over to see his family, basically.
Oh, okay. See, that works better too. That's so sweet.
He even asked B-15 about his friends from the Fox universe, like, Laura, Elektra, Blade, Gambit, about helping them out. And she's like, I'll see what I can do, which, knowing her character, she will. So when we have that party, we do see Laura and Logan talking, and she's there hanging out, and it seems like everybody had gotten their happy ending.
And then Logan tells Deadpool, go talk to her. What are you doing? And he finally
talk to the girl.
He finally talks to her, and she's like, oh, you've been busy. Like, she knows that he has actually been working to save the universe. He's finally been doing something bigger than himself, not about himself. Absolutely beautiful. And all they do is touch hands briefly, and oh, they're going to rekindle things. That's not all for naught. And then it ends right there. It ends in the party room.
Yeah, more or less. And then we get a roll credits with basically a love letter send-off eulogy to the Fox universe and the history.
Yeah, that was beautiful, wasn't it? You haven't seen anything like that in such a long time, but it was footage. It was, cuts and everything. It was of bloopers. You haven't seen stuff like that in such a long time, and it was of all of those old movies.
Yeah, and it was like not just X-Men, it was like the freaking Fantastic Four, the First Class reboots, and like it reminded me how when this concept of movie first came out, people thought it would be like based on the comic Deadpool destroys the Marvel universe. In this case, it'd be Deadpool destroys the Fox universe. It's actually quite the opposite. It was Deadpool saves the Fox universe.
Dude, Deadpool saves the MCU.
All of the above. Yeah, he really did, though. People are praising this movie.
But why was Thor crying?
Yeah.
Why was he crying?
I guess you'll find out next time. But after this beautiful scene, we do get the after credits and
post-credit. Yeah.
It turns out
you guys have been saying that I got Johnny Storm killed. Well, I'm here to prove you wrong.
Yeah, he's in the TVA. He can pull up the footage now, and he can prove to us what actually happened, whether or not he truly said all of that bullshit. And it cuts to him, and Johnny's in the cage talking to him, and he said everything verbatim about his cinnamon, about how she could eat his
cinnamon mint.
Yeah, she could eat a cinnamon mint, and then he finishes it all off with, and you can quote me on that.
Hey,
the Boston accent, everything.
Got you, fucker.
Yeah, the Boston accent. He went full in. It was crazy.
Yeah, he was clearly trying to keep it together and not laugh, and his accent was slipping because when you're speaking in those rants in accent that's not your native one, of course it's going to start slipping up.
It was awesome. I loved every minute of that. And then it does finally cut, and ladies and gentlemen, that is Deadpool and Wolverine. What did you guys think overall before we get into the vouch and we get for the Kill, Watch, Marry?
A lot of fun. I liked them using Bye 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 as the intro song. And fun little fact, that song was in X-Men 2, and apparently Wolverine hates NSYNC, so it was probably just a funny gag or coincidence, really, because he also mentioned in Deadpool 1 that he should have just got NSYNC instead of who was it? Celine Dion?
I
Yeah.
don't even remember. Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
The
awesome.
second one,
Yeah.
yeah.
But do you guys think, I do think they did revitalize some interest in the Marvel universe with this one, but now they have to use the right characters in these next few
And
movies.
then they killed interest by announcing RDJ as Doctor Doom.
Do you think they killed interest? I'm fascinated.
So there's like this duality. Comic fans hate it, but everyone's like, the general audiences are gonna fucking eat this shit up. They're gonna go see it regardless.
Well, I'm curious how, because they're not just going to put him in as Doctor Doom and not address, hey, wasn't that guy Iron Man? I think there has to be something canonically as to why that's the case.
I saw this fan theory where someone said the real Doctor Doom has to show up and kill RDJ Doctor Doom like upgraded Ultron destroys the previous Ultron.
I don't know.
They could have just recast him.
Yeah, and they could have said it was a variant.
Like, isn't one of the Kangs like a fucking Iron Man or something? The easiest character to recast in the history of the MCU, and they didn't recast him.
But I think, PapaNasty, it's time for that big question.
Do you guys vouch for me?
I'm imagining you prodding your little fingers together
Yeah.
like, do you vouch for me?
Hey, guys, I don't normally get vouched for, so I wouldn't think you guys vouch for me. But
I vouch for you.
I vouch for you. Come on, dude. That was such a great movie. Everyone in the if I said no, I'd have to ignore everybody in the theater around me. Also, I don't think I've laughed at a movie so much in a while where it just caught me off guard and I genuinely was chortling. So, come on.
That movie got me wanting to learn the fucking choreography to Bye Bye Bye.
Who is credited in the person who danced Bye 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 in the credits, it was credited as Dance Pool, so it wasn't Ryan Reynolds, of course, but that would be incredible.
No, I saw on TikTok someone posted a picture of the guy in the costume. He was like a dance / stuntman stand-in, basically.
Cool.
He was like a stuntman for a dance scene, basically.
Damn. He's stunting on him. But it comes down to it, guys. Kill, Watch, Marry.
Mary, I'm buying the DVD.
Mary.
Marry. It definitely is one of the better. It's the best Deadpool movie I've seen so far, and it had me excited. All the cameos were worth it. At the end of the day, the story, like the plot, was a little but it's a Deadpool movie. It's not supposed to be a serious plot, and then they still made me cry. Am I a liar? Am I gonna sit here right now and say that when Wolverine spilled his beans, I didn't cry? No, I cried my little heart out. So
Yeah, I will say like it did drag on a little bit during some of the story arc in the void, mostly just the back and forth continuous arguing, but then it picks up pretty quickly after they meet the others.
agreed. Yep, and it was great to have Wolverine there. This is a movie I will watch again with friends or family, so I think we're on to something
Fox
here.
and Friends.
Fox and Friends, baby. Hey guys, but yeah, we did great. Deadpool and Wolverine. We'll be posting this one, and then we're going on a little escapade. We're gonna have 3 movies coming at you, and they will be critical bombs. And yep, and we already have them lined up at this point. Shall we just start dishing them? So who's coming first? Let's see, because this is your movie.
It was Kung Pao, right?
I mean, technically,
We did that one first.
yeah, we'll do it that way. So next week will be PapaNasty. He gets a back-to-back. It is what it is. I fucked up when I was posting them. So we got Kung Pao, Godzilla 1998, and then Abraham Lincoln still has to decide what his is gonna be. And I think he might have figured it out.
It's Morbin time.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like just browsing bad movies because I was either gonna default to like Revenge of the Fallen or one of the later Transformer movies like Age of Extinction or some shit. But then I came across Morbius and I was like, oh, I haven't seen Morbius yet. Might as well watch it and then finally lose 2 hours of my life finally.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like we're starting to lean on. Yeah, we're starting to definitely lean on some superhero related movies. So this is where PapaNasty and I have to actually, start making our. We plan to do a superhero podcast. Anything super like TV, movie, comic, discussion, whatever it is we want to do. But now we're announcing it, so we got to commit to it, baby. Let's go. And we're going to have a video element soon, too. I'm going to say it right now. So then, yep, there it is. PapaNasty's committed. Let's go. Speaking of coming to it, we're going to need you guys to, on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. It helps us a lot. Actually get seen in the algorithm. Of course, on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all of those things. You guys know about it. Come on. We're begging you. You guys are our vouchers. We appreciate you so. But, guys, I think we should bid them farewell. Have a good night, guys.
We love you guys. Good night.
Later, y'all.
We'll see you soon. See you next time.